Hello from my National Conference of State Legislatures, otherwise known as NCSL, Fiscal Leadership Conference in my hotel room. Not a usual venue that I'm coming to you from. The conference is just wrapping up and we're all getting ready to head out and head back home. But I just wanted to quickly highlight how these kinds of conferences, this one in particular, has been really great for networking with a lot of colleagues who have similar responsibilities to mine across the country and face similar kinds of issues, and trying to put our state in context with others in areas where we're doing very well and in areas where we have work to do. It's a really valuable exercise today. Among the topics that we discussed were artificial intelligence and the way to use that as a force multiplier at a time of difficulty finding adequate supplies of labor. And how to look at it, how to use AI as a tool to sort of take a look at policy overall and see where inconsistencies are, or where we make things too complicated unintentionally. And what it is, what it isn't, what it can, what it can't do. Also lots of conversation about transportation funding, as many states, including Connecticut, see the diminution of the gas tax, which was a traditional way to fund, is still a traditional way to fund transportation infrastructure across the country. And lots of states like Connecticut are looking to other sources of revenue to do that, particularly at a time when we're seeing we have federal investment, but that we have to match. Pensions, and the final topic I just wanted to note quickly that we closed the day with, which was nice, was civility. So NCSL is a bipartisan or nonpartisan group, so it is not preaching to the choir. There are people of many different political priorities in the room, but I think we're a self-selected group because we choose to attend this kind of conference as opposed to ones where you hear only partisan messages that line up with your policy goals. So you hear a lot of interesting thought from people who are truly engaged in listening to one another and trying to work out, come to common ground and show respect and warmth for one another. And I think that's a valuable thing. And we ended today that I'll share a quote with the presenter, who is from Wyoming, who worked for Senator Mike Enzi, who he had a couple things about. One of Enzi's famous rules was the 80-20 rule, which was to focus on the 80% of things where we disagree and ignore the 20% where we don't, to try to that's how you get things done. And he noted, nothing gets done when we're just yelling at each other or telling each other how wrong we are. Just ask yourself, has anyone ever really changed your opinion by getting in your face and yelling at you or saying to you how wrong you are? Usually that doesn't change hearts or minds. Unfortunately, that sounds like a lot of social media and conversation these days. But so I have loads of notes and my head is exploding with information. And I look forward to bringing that back and maybe talking more about that in the future. I also wanted to note a couple of things. Consensus revenues came out earlier this week, which is something that we do 3 times a year in Connecticut. And it's basically just we update our projections for our budget generally. I'm responsible for the revenue side. So the revenue part of it came out Monday this week. And next week we'll get the full picture, both projections for the spending and the revenue side. And net, it's not that different from last time. We do this 3 times a year. They're slightly adjusted down. Some numbers are up, some numbers are down. We still expect to end this current fiscal year in a surplus. The numbers that are most affected and that are coming down off of some of the pandemic heights are what we refer to as our volatile revenues. We reserve a portion of those volatile revenues in Connecticut over certain thresholds to be applied to our rainy day fund and to our pension liabilities, which in Connecticut are quite serious. That's one of the areas where Connecticut needs to do a little bit better. And those numbers we were very fortunate during the pandemic that those numbers were quite high, and we were able to both develop a robust rainy day fund or budget reserve fund and pay off a lot of pension debt. Those numbers are coming down. They're still positive, but they're, more modest numbers as we sort of trend to something that maybe is normal coming out of the pandemic, both in terms of the crisis, but also in terms of the federal revenues, significant federal revenues that were available to us. And then there are a whole bunch of national days that I thought I'd note. So some of them have special relevance for us. Yesterday was National Rural Health Day, and the Office of Rural Health this year honored GEAR as a community star for their commitment to rural health in our area. So congratulations to GEAR for that well-deserved honor. Saturday is National Adoption Day. That's always a joyous day. Sometimes in the past, I've been able to attend adoption hearings on that day, which is always a really, really moving and wonderful thing. Sunday is Women's Entrepreneurship Day. Great day to honor the achievements and the positive developments, but also the hurdles that remain in front of a lot of women entrepreneurs in Connecticut and elsewhere. And today is National Hiking Day. So I'm hoping to squeeze in a little walk around here, at least before I get home to the true hiking capital, which is the northwest corner of Connecticut. So next week is Thanksgiving. I hope you have plans and don't get stuck in too much travel. I will probably not do a newsletter next week. So I will wish you again a happy Thanksgiving, but I'll get ahead and wish you a happy Thanksgiving now and safe travels to those of you who are traveling. See you next week.